Hi people, it's me again, Marino Ravenberg. I'm gonna do a movie related video again, as you can tell from the header. The name of this movie is The Autopsy of Jane Doe. The movie, I need to check when it came out. The movie came out in, hold on, give me a second. The Autopsy of Jane Doe, 2016, so 5 years ago. Long story short, the movie is about a coroner and his son, which is about to follow in his footsteps, or is well in the process of doing so. Having to examine a body that was dug up under mysterious circumstances, etc. And it turns out that the body is a victim of the Salem witch trials that took place in the US. I'm not going to explain what the Salem witch trials are. All you need to remember that these are witch trials. If you want to know what the Salem witch trials were, simply look them up. Long story short, they simply falsely, for a good portion, falsely accused women in the US at a certain point in Salem, Oregon, if I remember it correctly. Yeah, that's Salem. Correct me if I'm wrong. In any case, in a city called Salem, or a hamlet or village called Salem, and they just started pointing fingers for a bunch of bad things happening, and they, in the process, killed a good deal of innocent women / girls, and yeah, that's known as the Salem witch trials. Okay, it wasn't based on proof or die-hard evidence, as is the case nowadays. But you know, back in the days, people were easy to point out witch to others. You know, he's a witch, she's a witch, you name it. And back in the day, you know, law reforms and structures weren't up to date, to put it that way, as usual, or as is nowadays the case. So it would be easy to get prosecuted for something that in which you're completely innocent, and that is the case, or that was the case back then. If people even nowadays get prosecuted, despite the refined law or judicial system that we have got going on globally. Obviously, some in other places, some more than in other places, less than others. So in some places, more than others. Even when you take that into account, if even by today's refined judicial or law-based standards or law-refined standards, people on occasion still get accused of things and are prosecuted and get thrown behind bars, or are even outright killed via a death sentence or death row. If even one or two people are innocent in all of this, despite our refined structure, judicial structure, then you can imagine what it was like back then. It was not pretty, to say the least. In any case, this body turns out to be the victim of those Salem witch trials, and the second they start dissecting her, and they start doing what coroners usually do, as in examining the body to determine time of death, cause of death, TOD and COD, as is abbreviated, then a bunch of freaky stuff starts happening, a bunch of weird crap starts happening, and things of a supernatural nature. And it quickly becomes clear that the body is haunted, and it just goes on and on and on like that. They also find a bunch of weird sigils, I think, sigils, either singular or plural, embedded under her skin, or in specific organs, you name it, okay? And the movie does not end well, okay? It ends with the coroner as well as his son being killed, either directly or indirectly by the entity. And yeah, overall the movie is really as good as it sounds. The movie is simplistic, but yet the execution of it is done well. The actor that plays in the movie, the main actor, what's his name again? The cast is a moderately well-known actor. Okay, I forgot the name of the actor, but I also saw him in the X-Men specifically. I think he played a commanding officer or something, in specifically the part of the X-Men where Wolverine was first created. He was like Wolverine's commanding officer, or the person that created Wolverine, you name it. In any case, okay, it's an actor that I recognize. Yeah, the movie is really as good as it sounds. And if you're someone that you know that scares easily, this movie is really going to do it for you. Of course, not for me, because I'm an occultist. Nothing phases me. Not to come off as cocky, but still, I enjoyed the movie. I wouldn't say the movie is great, but it's good. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a solid 7.5. Now, in terms of the occult relevance of this movie, there's not a lot to say. The body is haunted. They inserted, as far as I recall, regarding the plot of the movie, at some point they inserted sigils. I think the people that either persecuted her and killed her back in the Salem witch trial era, and placed those seals written on or woven into fabric or something, and then embedded in her skin and in certain organs of her body, of course, to simply contain what they perceived as the evil within, or to contain her alleged witch-based powers. But yeah, in the process thereof, they basically created a monster, and as a result, okay, a good portion of this girl or this woman's energy, astral energy, even past that, state in a dormant state. It's kind of like creating a heap of energy, kind of like a mini egregore, if you will, that's confined in a person's body. And when they dissected it, the coroner and his son, they quote unquote let the energy loose. And yeah, the rest is as I described. Watch the movie for yourself if you haven't. Okay, I promise you won't be disappointed. I hypothetically speaking promise. Like I said, solid 7.5. Others might give it more, but from a neutral point of view, as someone that doesn't get fazed by anything, I'd still give it a solid, at the very least, a solid 7. Good movie overall. So yeah, that's all. If you want to watch it for free, I have in the description a link. I placed a link in the description of this video where you can watch it for free on a video streaming website. And yeah, that's it. All the other information that you want to look up, you can easily find it online by simply Googling it or using some other search engine. Yeah, that's all, guys. See you guys later. Bye.